A blessed Easter to you all. Christ is risen, indeed he is risen. Chrystus zmartwychwstał, prawdziwy zmartwychwstał, as we would say in certain parts of Poland. Christ is risen, indeed he is risen. In some ways, it's a little better greeting than just Happy Easter. Happy Easter. It's a good greeting, very acceptable in our society, but it doesn't really affirm the faith that is the basis of our Easter. And I think it's so important today to reaffirm and renew in our hearts the basic core of faith, that the proclamation of Jesus Christ as risen from the dead is what is at the core of this celebration of Easter. In a very real way, in a strange way to some people's thinking, this core of faith can be in the worst of your situations and in the best of your situations. You might be dealing with some difficulties of your physical health. You might be dealing with some very deep psychological worries and concerns. You might, in a very real way, be dealing with limitations on your finances and wondering how you're going to get by. And yet, that proclamation of faith is very important for all of us. As the angel said to the women when they were at the tomb, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are seeking Jesus the crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay." The empty tomb is not empty of faith. The empty tomb is only filled by our faith and by our encountering with Jesus in the most holy sacraments of the Church, in particular the great sacrament of the Eucharist. As we express in our faith during the Mass itself, we again and again recite and declare that what we are doing in the Mass is recalling his death, but also his resurrection. We cannot ever separate the two. It's not a matter of a death and then a matter of resurrection. This is the same one who offered his body and blood at the Last Supper to his disciples and continues to offer his body and blood to us, his followers. It's the same one who offered that, made an offering at the Holy Supper, is the one who died on the cross on that day of Good Friday. And it is the same one who 3 days later would be raised from the dead. As Jesus said to them, the women who were at the tomb, "Do not be afraid. Go tell my brothers to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." The message of this holy season is so important for all of us. And especially as we listen to and pray that beautiful sequence. It's a little special, it could be either a hymn or a poem that is read before the gospel is read. It says so much. It says, "Death and life have contended in that combat stupendous. The Prince of Life who died reigns immortal." And then it says to Mary at the tomb, "Speak, Mary, declaring what you saw wayfaring, the tomb of Christ who is living, the glory of Jesus' resurrection, bright angels attesting, the shroud and napkin resting. Yes, Christ, my hope is arisen. Yes, Christ, my hope is arisen. Christ indeed from death is risen, our new life obtaining." And I think we need to reaffirm again and again that very basic faith that we as Christians hold, that the Nazarene, Jesus of Nazareth, rose from the dead, is in glory, and invites us to share in that resurrection, for we too must go through death in order to come to life. We go through the death of baptism to the life of the Spirit. We go through many moments of dying in our human lives with so many circumstances of life. We go through all those moments of dying, but they're not an end. Life is not ended for us, but life is changed. And in that moment, we share in that risen life of Jesus Christ from the dead. Death and life have contended in that combat stupendous. The Prince of Life who died reigns immortal. Christ indeed from death is risen, our new life obtaining. A blessed Easter to you all.